31 days of Halloween.
How long has it been going on, I wonder? Nobody knows when it really started. Stories have existed for generations and generations, but no one could have dreamed it was all true. That there were these creatures, things that lived alongside man ever since we huddled around the fire. Every nation had their own unique legends embedded in their cultures. Strigoi, Ghoul, Wendigo, Penang, Aswang, Chupacabra, whatever you want to call them. Most people thought it was nothing more than figments of imagination. I did too. I cursed myself for not seeing the signs. I relaxed myself from looking through my rifle. After hours of watching my position, I decided I was due for a snack. Absent-mindedly, I searched my pockets for provisions. Subconsciously, I asked myself the same question everybody else has for the past 8 years. How the hell did we get into this mess? About 5 years ago, strange deaths started surfacing on the internet. Being part of a younger generation, I was familiar with stories and conspiracies that circle around these cases. When I brought it up to some of my friends, it was dismissed as nothing more than internet stuff. What the hell is this shit? My friend Derek muttered with a frown while we drank at a bar. For someone almost hitting 30, you ought to lay off them sights, man. It was cool when we were in high school, he said as he tipped down a shot. Until we realized how dumb those paranormal documentaries looked. It was just for amusement, I said as I took my tablet back. Nothing like folklore mixed with internet conspiracies to pique the interest. I chugged a pint. You know, those murders were probably just done by some sick weirdos. God knows how much crazy shit happens out there. We've all heard about the dark web. He dismissed with blandness. The night went on as expected. Drinking, partying, hitting on girls. I was having the time of my life. So were my friends. We dispersed around 3 in the morning. Most of us with our own little groups, and most probably won't sleep alone. Hey, Private, you hear me? An officer sternly asked. I snapped back to the present, looked around me before staring up at my CO, Sergeant Ramirez's face. Sir? I said, next shift will relieve you in 10 minutes. Get a stim pack and pull yourself together, soldier. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. I promptly answered in a hushed voice as I finished my snack and got back to looking through my weapon. It was an M14 EBR, semi-automatic with modified rounds, tipped with a mixture of blessed material and silver, encased in full metal jackets. It was deemed a highly effective weapon against the enemy. I readjusted my scope and settled back into my sniping position. I never was the patriotic type. Never one for the clean-cut trim and the camel shirt, but because of what happened that night, here I am, posted at a defensive position with a high-powered rifle, hoping to God, or whoever else is out there, that those things don't show up. At least, not until I finish my snack. As Derek and I had wandered aimlessly, we talked about the night we just had. Derek, in particular, seemed quite stricken by one of the girls we met. I'm telling you, man, that girl's a keeper. He was so excited with a silly grin on his face. Too bad I couldn't get her number, though. I mostly kept quiet while munching on pork cracklings I got from the bar. How about you, though? Surely you set your eyes on at least one girl tonight or something. But it looks like you're more interested in those snacks from the bar, dude, Derek asked. Yeah, I guess, I said lazily while chewing. There were some nice girls back there, but these snacks are seriously awesome. And for $20 a glass, they better have some awesome free snacks to go with the drinks. I'm just getting my money's worth. We were so caught up in our conversation that we didn't notice a girl appear until we nearly bumped into her. It was the same one from the bar. 5'2", petite, amazing curves, and a dangerously seductive smile. It also didn't help that she had a revealing mini dress. "Hey boys, fancy meeting you here." Derek looked like the stars just aligned for him. "Hey, you were that girl from earlier. Nina, was it? I didn't know you were going the same way we did. We could have left together." "Yeah, what a coincidence. Can I walk with you guys, please?" she asked with a 1,000-watt smile. I didn't think it was possible for a girl to be so cute. "Of course, babe, we'll keep you company." Derek never missed a beat. His game was on point. "Besides, we gotta do something about this sausage party." I smirked and gave him the finger. "Really? Thanks," Nina exclaimed as she clung to Derek, and we continued on our path. She was really putting on the charm for us. If I was Derek, I wouldn't say no either. But I stuck to the code. Bros before hoes. She's all yours, bud, I thought to myself as I lit a cigarette. We trudged through the desolate road following Nina's directions. We were soon stuck in the middle of nowhere. But instead of giving us an address, she kept saying vague things like, "just over there." I thought it was strange, but I went along since Derek was so into her. They were openly flirting now, almost a little too touchy-feely. When the road kept getting more and more secluded, I asked if we were in the right place. Derek was beginning to think it was weird too. "Babe, are you in the right place?" he asked. "You sure we're not lost? We went past the last house 30 minutes ago." "Oh yeah, you're right where you need to be," she quietly said, all pretense and flirtation gone from her voice as she stopped clinging to Derek's arm. "Where are we?" "You know, we could just catch an Uber," I suggested to them. "Saving cash be damned, I'm not walking any further for a booty call." It's always so easy. Humans fall for it all the time. Nina was becoming more ominous and mysterious as the conversation went on. What's going on?" I directed the question to her, the tension slowly creeping in. "What are you saying? Is this a prank or something? I thought you wanted us to take you home," Derek asked Nina. He was really starting to think maybe something was wrong. The lamppost above us started flickering. We got nervous and started looking around, not knowing what to do. To make matters worse, Nina started drooping over, and me and Derek knew something fucked up was afoot. "Nina, yo, what's happening to you?" Derek called out to her. She only responded with guttural grunts and growls, turning into snarls. We saw her change under the flickering light. Her gait turned animalistic, and her appearance turned ragged to freaky to downright terrifying. Her joints started bending the wrong way, and her once voluptuous body contorted into inhuman shapes, tearing her mini dress in several places, with some appendages poking through. The whole thing probably only took a few seconds, but it felt like an eternity as we stood transfixed in horror. As if breaking from a trance, Nina jerked her head toward us and stared into our soul. We both screamed in surprise. Her features were more animal than human. She looked similar to those internet monsters with her low-hanging jaw, long, crooked limbs, and those large, lifeless eyes filled with black pools of abyss. It was straight-up Blair Witch shit. We didn't know what to do as Nina was defying the laws of nature and what was humanly possible. Without warning, she pounced on us. We knew it was too late to react. We barely managed to utter a cry when it flew toward us. But right before it reached us, the light from the lamppost went out completely. And when it came back on, that thing was gone. "Fuck, dude, we need to get the fuck out of here, man," Derek roared in full panic mode. I didn't bother responding, nor could I find the strength to. My heart was pounding in my chest. My adrenaline was flowing hard. I didn't even realize I fell on my ass and pissed myself. Everything seemed darker all of a sudden. We didn't notice how completely alone and vulnerable we were out here. All the lights were gone except for our lamppost. I got up to run just as the light started flickering again. Derek was already breaking into a run. I did not intend to get left behind. We used our phones for lighting as we made our way through the dark. In our wild running, we went off-road and somehow found our way to a trail with trees all around us. We didn't know where we were going. We just knew we had to get away from there, and that we would hopefully find civilization again soon. We could hear things moving around in the woods. Every time a branch or a twig would crack or move, we would swing our phone's flashlight toward that way, but we would find nothing except swaying trees or shrubs, like something just moved impossibly fast. "This way, man, hurry," Derek said between pants and heavy breathing as we neared what looks like the edge of the trees. But instead of a way out, it turned out just to be a small clearing. We had no idea where we were. We just knew it's not a place we were familiar with. I doubt this place even existed on a map. "Shit, what now? Where the hell are we?" I cried out in panic while trying to catch my breath. "What the hell's going on, dude? What the fuck just happened?" Derek blurted out, heavy sweat on his forehead. "I don't know. We need to get somewhere safe, fast," I replied, trying to gather my thoughts. We both knew that wasn't normal. "This isn't happening, man. This isn't happening. Oh God, what are we gonna do? Oh my God," he said, looking around, trying to figure out where we were. I checked my phone and saw I was almost out of battery. I cursed and decided it's make it or break it time. "Hey, how much battery you got left?" "Shit, not much," Derek replied. "Me too. 5%. Derek let out a string of curses. "I think I have to turn my light off to save power," I suggested. "There's no other choice." "Oh fuck. If you're gonna call for help, make it quick. Mine's almost dead." Shit. I killed my light and fumbled to find reception. As soon as I got 2 bars, I decided to gamble. Hello, we need help," I said to the operator. "I think we got lost and something's chasing us. Something dangerous. Please, we need help," I stammered. "Okay, son, we're tracing your call now. Stay with me. Help will be there soon," the operator answered, trying to calm me down. "Please hurry. We are in serious danger here. There's something dangerous chasing us and we can't see what it is," I told the operator. I intentionally left out the part where I saw the thing change from human to something that would haunt me for the rest of my life. "Tell him to hurry up, man. We're not dealing with this shit," Derek said behind me, clearly getting rattled again. I asked the operator if help was on the way. No answer. I asked again. Still nothing. Nervously, I checked my phone to see what was wrong. My blood ran cold. It was dead. The call cut halfway. Out of nowhere, I hear movement among the brush, followed by an inhuman sound. I whipped around to see what was happening. All I saw was something dragging Derek toward the night by the ankles as he screamed and cried for me to help him. I watched in helpless terror as he disappeared into the inky blackness of the night, shortly followed by a monstrous roar, a wet, squelching thud, and with what I assumed was bones breaking and snapping. I cried as I felt utter despair envelop me. The situation was hopeless. Derek was taken by the thing and I had no way of contacting anybody for help. I wasn't even sure what I was doing. I was dumbstruck, just facing the direction I last saw my best friend get dragged by some horrible creature that I wished to God I could forget. When I heard the hair-raising growls, I glanced around me, trying to see through the inky blackness. I felt sinking despair in my stomach as I heard rustling from everywhere. There was more than one of them. I almost missed Derek's phone on the ground. It was probably dropped when he got taken. 3% power left. I remember the times me and Derek shared through the years, both thick and thin. We were like brothers, and tonight I failed him.
He tried to save you,
the creature said between halting clicks and low growls.
He got in my way, and he paid for it.
I heard a hint of gloating in its voice. Derek always looked out for me when we were younger. This time he tried doing the same, but it cost him his life. Either I die here crying, or I take this fucking thing with me. Cue Predator music. I found an oak tree and snapped off a branch. I gathered leaves and bits of wood to make a torch, then lit it with my lighter. I racked my brain, trying to remember all those YouTube survival fighting videos I watched, trying to hype myself up. I struggled to make peace with my fate. This isn't a fight for survival, it's revenge. "Alright, fucker," I yelled out. "Let's do this. You want me, right?" I tried recreating that scene from Predator as much as I could with Arnold, except I only had a makeshift torch and soiled pants instead of muddy face paint and bulging muscles. From the darkness came a screeching howl mixed with a roar. The thing has come for me. I tightened my grip on the branch and clenched my teeth. I'm gonna need everything I got, and then some, to have a chance against this thing.
So brave.
The thing gurgled in a halting manner. It revealed itself to me as it was illuminated by the fire. It made a noise which I assumed was a chuckle.
You are the first one in a very long time to stop running.
Nina was hideous. It looked even less human than it did under the lamppost. Only shreds of that mini dress remained clinging to that thing's body. Its knees bent backwards. Its elongated limbs were grotesquely shaped, ending in vicious claws. Its skin was pale, dry, leathery, and that stench. I was trying hard not to barf.
We have been very hungry lately. You will do nicely.
I don't have all night, I muttered in clenched teeth, so let's get this fucking thing over with. The monster drooled in anticipation, revealing several rows of broken and misshapen teeth on its unnaturally big mouth. Its limbs tensed, getting ready for a pounce in my direction. Its back arched, revealing a spine that was bent in all the wrong directions, and various bits of jagged bone jutting out from its back. With a roar, it lunged toward me with terrifying speed. I answered with a roar of my own, and swung my torch into the thing's face. It screeched in pain, and was stunned for a moment. At that instant, I felt hope, thinking maybe I can actually kill this thing. If it bleeds, we can kill it, right? I thought. In response, Nina swiped with her long, massive claws and stabbed my torch in half. It went flying somewhere behind the thick bushes. I braced my other arm when I saw the swing coming, but I still got thrown a few feet back from the sheer force of impact. Winded, I noticed the hand I braced myself got torn up pretty badly. I screamed in pain. All that hope melted in an instant, replaced again with sinking despair. Perhaps sensing my morale breaking, the thing dove toward me as I struggled to get up. I barely got to my feet when Nina descended upon me, possibly trying to finish me off, and finally getting started on her second course for the night. I remembered I still had that sharp piece of wood left in my left hand from the snapped torch. My mind went blank, and I stabbed and stabbed like it's the last thing I'll ever do. It was all or nothing. The monster was clawing at me, tearing skin and biting pieces of flesh. I kept stabbing at it with the broken branch. We were both getting weaker. I was losing blood. The last thing I remember before blacking out was hearing the monster breathing in my ear, and what I presumed was my faint voice losing strength as I passed out. A burning pain tore me awake. I screamed when I saw the thing looking right at me while also laying on top of me. After realizing it was dead, I looked around and noticed fire almost all around me. Apparently the torch got tossed in some bushes and set the whole place ablaze. Screaming with pain and effort, I pushed the thing off of me and tried getting up on my feet. I limped away from the fire as it crept steadily toward where I was lying a few minutes ago. Maybe I was just getting delirious from blood loss, but I thought I heard several voices behind the fire. I tried focusing my eyesight to look behind the flames, and I saw several shapes looking like that thing I just killed. All ravening for delight, probably waiting for me to pass out completely so they can dig in. The only thing that held them back was the fire I accidentally started. Then I finally remembered. I killed one, but there were more of them. I tried desperately to limp away from them all, while the fire still burned between us. Amidst the crackling flames and the stinging smoke, I can hear many gurgling noises along with the words.
We are coming, human. You will never be found. We will devour you all. We will not stay in the dark forever.
I was now fully considering throwing myself into the fire if I couldn't outrun these things. I will not allow them to take everything from me. My thoughts got interrupted by a chopper passing above me. I screamed like my life depended on it for them to pull me aboard. Well, I guess my life did depend upon it. If I ever survive this, I swear, I thought to myself, I will hunt these things down until I die. As they lowered the emergency crew to strap me up, I looked back into the blazing forest. Those shapes were already gone. Neither could I hear their gurgling, inhuman voices anymore. I knew that part of me died that day, and that I would never be the same again. I was sent to the emergency room for reconstructive surgery. The cover story was I got attacked by wild animals fleeing from the fire. Apparently I was dozens of miles away from where I was supposed to be. If it weren't for the forest fire, they wouldn't have known I was there. I had no idea how Derek and I got there, as it was physically impossible for us to have traveled dozens of miles in a couple of hours on foot. Speaking of Derek, his body was never found. He's deemed missing even to this day. For months, I watched the news as I lay in the hospital bed. Day after day, you get these reports of mysterious attacks, and a lot of people going missing or presumed dead, with a lot more fueling the panic train. It's starting, I thought to myself. It's happening again. After weeks of recovery and therapy, I was approached by a shady government official. He told me he was part of a government agency that was tasked to handle these events. Given I had first-hand knowledge, I was deemed eligible for recruitment. I was introduced to the squad and underwent intense training for 2 years. We became an elite team of soldiers, funded by a mysterious organization that believes in the paranormal. For the past few years, we've been sent to places all over the world to hunt these things, while the rest of the world slowly descended into chaos. Over the years, I became more adept to my new job. Wherever we got sent, we encountered a different kind of monster, but it was always the same. They always preyed on the weak and defenseless, and we were there to put an end to them. This brings us back to the present. We were sent to a remote jungle in Southeast Asia to cleanse a country that was overrun by monsters. Story goes they started from village to village, gathering in numbers, until they wiped the entire city clean. A lot of people died, too many, before it got enough attention to elicit a response from the organization. By then, it was far too late for any survivors. Sometimes I ask myself, is there an end to this? Will there ever be a last one? I was just being relieved from my post when the radio squawked. "Heads up, ladies, we got contact," Sergeant Ramirez announced. "It's a big one." I looked through my rifle at the approaching target. About a half a mile away, a large swarm of shapes started trickling through the thick jungle into the ocean just as the sun was rising. What those things said to me all those years ago echoed in my ears. "We are coming, human. We will not stay in the dark forever." "My God," the soldier next to me uttered. Private Donazo, I think he was called. He was a new addition to the team. "Never saw something like that before, huh?" I asked. "Not this many," Donazo stammered. I patted him on the shoulder. "Just remember your training, man," I said as I racked my weapon slide. Those things sniffed the air, as if trying to sense us. After confirming our location, they charged toward us with a terrifying speed. Their stench wafted toward us just as they came close. Among them surfaced a really big one, as big as a 2-story house. It looked like it was made from different bodies patched together. Bodies that, when I looked closer through my scope, were still squirming and writhing, like some sick amalgamation of nightmares come to devour the world. It led the charge. "All units fire! Take him down!" Sergeant Ramirez bellowed. "Let's do this, fuckers," I whispered as I drew a breath and took the first shot. The first salvo took out dozens of them, our silver-tipped rounds melting through them like a hot knife through butter. But there were so many of them. As much as our weapons hurt them, they kept coming. "Keep firing! Shoot, shoot, shoot!" Ramirez was shouting as he fired his own rifle. Most of the little ones died easily, but the big one seemed almost impervious to our bullets. The other monsters decided to take cover behind it, and little by little, made steady progress toward our position. "All units, focus, fire, kill that fucking thing," Ramirez ordered. We followed suit, concentrating our firepower on that thing that was getting uncomfortably close. When it got a few steps closer, we noticed something that chilled us even under the tropical sun. The writhing mass of bodies stapled into its body was made of live humans. No wonder our weapons didn't kill it right away. It was using live humans as a shield. We were close enough to hear them moaning and groaning. Some were screaming in agony from the horrible wounds dealt by our guns. Some hung limp in their entrails, draped by the others. "Sarge! Those are the missing people!" I yelled. "These fucks are using citizens as shields!" We watched helplessly, for we knew we couldn't do anything for these people, save for give them a quick and merciful death. We couldn't save them. More innocent victims for this war in the shadows. For once, Ramirez was utterly speechless. So was everyone else. Every member of our unit had years of experience and ice in their veins, but the inhumanity was too much. The monsters were counting on it. They were steadily pressing onward. It was too late when we realized our mistake. We heard a screaming out from one of us. It was Donazo. He was being gutted by a skinless, gurgling thing. We were too distracted by the horror we witnessed to realize the monsters were still coming at us. "Don't just stand there, kill that thing!" Ramirez bellowed. He got his composure back, and so did I. We resumed firing on the monsters. But it was too late. They got too close. They broke through our ranks, and all hell broke loose. The enemy was face to face, and there was crazy, wild shooting. I saw someone blow a creature's head off, only to get impaled by that huge thing. I got caught in a round in my sternum, knocking me down. Good thing I was wearing body armor. It felt like I ran into a brick wall, even though I was standing still. I noticed a shadow looming over me and a terrible, terrible smell. That huge abomination decided I was going to be the next victim. I fumbled around, looking for something, anything, that could help me in that near-hopeless situation. Then, I felt something pressing on my side. It was a pack of prototype explosives that were supposed to be tested out before this whole operation went to shit. Here goes nothing, I thought as I armed and activated the device and threw it into the hulking mass. "Fire in the hole! Everybody get down!" I shouted at the top of my voice. "Fire in the hole!" A few nearby team members echoed and dove for cover. There was a bright flashing light. It was as if the sun itself descended from the skies. The impact knocked me out. The last thing I remembered was the flash melting the monstrosities like dawn banishing the inky blackness of night. It felt like an eternity as I slowly came to. Ramirez was looming over me. "Get up, soldier. You're still with us," he said as he steadied me to my feet. Looking around, I saw the entire area littered with the bodies of our fallen comrades. The monsters were all gone, disintegrated. Apparently the new weapon is only deadly to those things and completely harmless to humans. It was a surreal feeling, and I was still mulling it over as I walked around. There was still quite a bit of us left. Some were already retrieving their weapons and looking for new targets. There were none in sight. I don't believe it, I thought. We survived. "Come in, HQ. Operation was successful. I repeat, operation successful. Numerous casualties. Requesting immediate extraction." Ramirez was talking to his radio. We got picked up in less than an hour. As usual, the bodies of the victims got disposed and the whole place was deemed fit for repopulation in a few short weeks. As for me, I was assigned to a new team. I still go around the world hunting down these things wherever we may find them. I don't think I'll ever do anything else. Monsters do live among us. This goes out to those that hide in the night, those that prey on the weak and the innocent. I will always be looking for you. I will never stop. And when I find you, I will be sure to return the favor for the things you did to me and my fellow men. This time, it's your turn to be afraid. Roll credits.